It's now 10:06 and time for the Saturday Special with Michael Zwerling.
Griffin Queener.
That's me.
May I ask you a personal question?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
Do you have a personal question for me to ask you today? Because I actually did a little bit of prep for this show. And I didn't have time to think of a personal question to ask you. So can you come up with one for me to ask you?
So you're asking if I have a personal question for myself?
Yeah, for me to ask you.
For you to ask me. Okay.
Right.
I don't know. That's kind of a hard question.
You don't have to tell me right now. It is a tradition.
All right.
It is a tradition
yeah.
for me to ask you, for me to start the show with a personal question to you. I'm just being totally upfront with you and the audience that I just couldn't think of one today because prepping for the show got in the way. Now, I did prep, and it took me a long time to prep for this show. Do you know what I did?
I have no idea.
I wrote like, I think it's 5-minute commentary.
Wow.
And I have to get pretty wound up about something.
Yeah.
For me to write a commentary, right? And I'm wound up about a lot of things, and I need to take some of the pressure off my being wound up. You know, because if you let yourself get wound up too much, you know, you can implode. You know what? You're explode, right. Or explode. I think it is not implode, explode.
Yeah.
So, if anytime you want, please, once you come up with a personal question, no matter where we are in the program, I want you to interrupt me. And say, I've come up with a personal question for you to ask me. And if I come up with one, if I just think of one, I'll just do it. But it would be sort of cool for you to come up with a personal question for a change.
Sure, yeah. I will do my best.
Okay, so let's start the show here.
Good morning. A brighter day is here. Good morning. May we bring you cheer.
We've got time, we've got tunes, we've got time, tunes, and temperature.
Get up and go, it's today, you know, on KSCO Radio.
I'm starting to understand why people have to have their coffee to get awoken or awakened. Yeah. So I had my coffee today. And I'm even sipping a no-calorie, no-sugar energy drink that happens to be black cherry flavored. Isn't that cool?
Good morning. Now stay right here on KSCO Radio.
Does anybody really care that I'm drinking an energy drink? You just got to say something to fill up the time. We have 2 hours to fill up. God. What happens if my prep was for naught today?
Well, you know what? Dave's here. Maybe he has an answer.
For what to do?
Yeah.
Oh, but does he have an idea for a personal question for me to ask you?
He does.
Oh, Dave Michaels.
Hey, MZ, how are you?
Hi, Dave Michaels. Good. Are you coming to my rescue?
What do you need rescuing?
Well, you know, I always ask Griffin Queener a personal question at the beginning of each show, and because I foolishly prepared for my show today, I forgot to come up with the. I didn't prepare that part. I forgot to come up with a personal question for me to ask Griffin Queener. So.
Well, I thought of a question for you, but I guess it would work for him as well.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll try to answer it as best I can.
All right.
For me, and then we can ask him.
Have either one of you, or let's start off with you, MZ, ever had poison oak? So bad that it gets everywhere. Poison oak in general, but then so bad that it gets, everywhere.
No, I have
Really?
not. I have not. I guess I must be immune to it. I've never had poison oak,
Wow.
and I guess I'm really. Can I infer from that, Dave Michaels, that you are suffering?
No. I haven't had poison oak since last year, but I'm just waiting because it's summertime. People go hiking a lot, and poison oak is You should watch out for that.
I know people who just look at poison oak and they get it, from like 50 feet away. They're that sensitive to it, and it's a nasty ass oil. It's a black oil.
Right.
You could some of these poison oak vines get to be 2 or 3 inches. They're more like trees than vines. And if you nick it, oh my God, I haven't heard of the black oil spurting, but boy, it sure seeks. No, what's the word? Seeps through to the bark of the vine, which is sometimes what's the boundary line between when something is no longer considered a vine and is considered a tree?
I don't know, but the poison oak pushes that boundary line.
Yeah,
especially out
anyhow.
I'm
very lucky that all these years I've never had poison oak. I remember Holy Hubert when I was a student at UC Berkeley. And why am I bringing him up? He was a guy who would be at Sproul Plaza, pontificating about all kinds of things. And one thing that he said was, God, it was in response to something that someone said. And then he says, poison oak. He says something about poison oak. What are you going to do? Chew it? Something. He said, what are you going to do? Chew it? That's what. So whenever someone mentions poison oak, I think of Holy Hubert, and I gotta dig deep into my memory to tell the story correctly.
All right.
But it was funny to hear him say, "What are you going to do about poison oak?" Oh, I know what it was. It was something about marijuana. Oh, he was scolding people about smoking marijuana.
Ah.
And someone said to him, hey, marijuana is produced by God. It's a natural thing that grows from the ground. He says, God produced poison oak. What are you going to do? Chew it? So,
wow.
So now at least I remembered the story, Dave Michael. So
all right.
Thank you. That's a good one. Now should I ask Griffin Queener?
Yeah, sure.
That
You
question?
ask him. Yeah.
Griffin Queener.
Yes.
Have you ever had poison oak so bad that no one recognized you, and it was on so many parts of your body that you were hoping that even the most precious part of your body would just drop off?
I've never had it that bad. I've never reached quite that limit before, but I've had it kind of bad when I was younger. I think my whole right leg got poison oak because it got in my pants, and then just kind of.
How did it get in your pants?
Well, because it was just. I was walking around and it got tucked up under my
under your leg.
Yeah, and then it just started spreading on my skin. And I was walking around. I didn't notice it for a bit, and then all of a sudden I'm itching. I'm scratching it, and it just spread all the way up my leg. But that was the worst I had it. I haven't had a full body.
Some people get it really bad. I mean, it gets everywhere. MZ, I found in my experience that the best cure for poison oak is just going out to the ocean, just getting in that ocean water.
I've heard that too, Dave.
It dries it out beautifully. It is.
Yeah,
it works so beautifully.
I think there's a better cure though.
What is that?
Don't go near it.
Well, yeah, that's.
Or don't even look at it if you're one of the extra sensitive people who get it just by looking at it. Now, I remember a story. I did not witness this because it has to do with my brother who's almost 10 years older than I. But I was told the story a number of times, and it cracked me up each time by, I think, my mother over the years, that someone knocked on the door, rang the doorbell, and my brother, who had terrible poison oak, answered the door, and it was one of his friends, and he says, "Is Lewis here?" I didn't even recognize him. He had it so bad. It was like he was what's that word? Had leprosy or something. He just totally unrecognizable because of such a bad case of poison oak. So
Poor guy.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
So I've never talked to poor Lou about that, but it might have scarred him for life. Who knows?
Well, look,
anyhow.
MZ, it looks like a customer just walked up out at the Dave Cave.
Okay, well, do you have anything to say about what's special today at the Dave Cave?
You know what, MZ? I have a nice stock of Xerafem. Now, this is a hormonal support supplement for women. I've heard lots of good things about that. Today's special, if you want to stop by, I would be happy doing a buy two, get one free on this stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, now, here's something, Dave Michaels. What would happen if a guy took it?
We have a formula for men as well, Zerif.
No, but what would happen if a guy took the
He'd probably start nagging at everybody.
Especially or a one who's considering becoming a tranny. Well, that would probably be a good thing, right?
Yes, I'm sure. Yes, MZ.
Okay, and there's more and more people considering becoming a tranny in Santa Cruz every day. Am I right?
You're probably right. Yes, we could make a commercial out of that. Hey,
yeah,
are you thinking of becoming a? I'm out of here.
We have to have some fun with these commercials, Dave. We really do.
All right.
The last
We're going to work on that, actually. Me and Billy Army and Kenny Thomas are going to be working on that today, too.
The three most creative people
We're going to be doing some recording, MZ. So if you want to stop by and do an unsolicited testimonial for longevity, stop by and we'll record you.
Or anybody else. For
anybody,
that
yeah,
matter,
anybody who has tried longevity and wants to say something. Maybe you'll be on George Norrie. Maybe you'll be who knows where the commercial is going to end up. But stop by today. We'll get you recorded and we'll have fun. How's that sound?
Today or not during the week because you'll be too busy producing them, or what?
Well, I'll be out here today until 2.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you, Dave
right,
Michaels.
Okay, bye.
Okay, so let's see. And I guess we got the personal question out of the way now, I think. So thank you very much. Now, what are we going to do today for the Saturday special? Well, I wrote an editorial, or I guess it's a commentary more than an editorial, and I recorded it, and the recording came out good, but I needed to take out the breaths and stuff, right? So I went to work on that. I spent maybe a half hour. And the damn computer crashed, or the hard drive on it crashed, and I lost everything. So I had to do it all over. It was almost late enough for me to have to read it live. And you know me, reading things live, I stutter and stammer and make mistakes left and right because I'm so used to having, you know, a what do you call it? A backup. I mean, a safety net of a recording. But anyhow, I did record it again. And I haven't edited it much, so that it's probably good enough. We will polish it off, and it will start running first of the week, probably Monday morning during rush or something. But here it is, and then I figured we'd use the rest of the program to discuss the questions that I pose in this commercial, okay? Not in this commercial, in this commentary. Let's see if I can plug it in and make sure that it plays properly. Back in 2008, in the weeks approaching the presidential election, I was very excited about and looking forward to voting for a charismatic candidate who happened to be black. Wow, imagine the thought of the leader of the free world actually being a person of color, and that was nothing short of amazing. But then I started hearing that leaders of rogue nations, known avowed enemies of the United States, were openly urging and rooting for the election of Barack Obama. The "what's wrong with this picture" alarm went off in my brain, and I immediately switched gears and decided to use my bully pulpit to broadcast a very rare for me editorial that simply stated that I had changed my mind about voting for the candidate I had supported and why. Nothing personal, nothing racist, just plain logic. Why would I, or anyone who loves our country, want a president that our enemies were pushing for? Well, damn. Clearly, enough people didn't hear my perfectly logical KSCO editorial because Obama was elected president. Also, I guess it all goes to show that charisma is more important than logic when it comes to the American electorate. Fast forward to now, 30 months into the Trump presidency, and I am baffled about a growing number of things that I hope someone can explain to me. I have never claimed to be particularly intelligent nor well-read, but I have pretty sharp senses of logic and humor for which I am both proud and thankful. Okay, here goes with my list of baffling things, which will undoubtedly grow with time. 1. Will someone explain to me why, when our stock market is at record high, our unemployment is at record low, so many of our own people who clearly benefit from all this pathologically hate President Trump. Immediately upon Trump's election, so many things turned around, including and especially our dependence on other countries for energy. How can any sane person give credit to Obama for that? 2, will someone explain to me why, when Israel is historically the only friend and ally of the United States in the Middle East, that so many of our own people pathologically hate President Trump for treating Israel as our friend rather than Obama, who, unlike any previous U.S. president, treated Israel so shabbily and with such utter disrespect? 3, will someone explain to me why, when the many years long trend of companies fleeing the U.S. to operate from countries that support them rather than punish them has reversed, and so many companies are moving back to the U.S. where, thanks to Trump, they are appreciated in ways they have not been for decades? That so many of our own people pathologically hate President Trump. Do these people want to enrich other nations at our expense? It sure seems so. Why? 4, will someone explain to me why, when everyone who pays taxes benefits from the largest tax cut in our history, that so many of our own people pathologically hate President Trump, whose tax cut made all of the above good things possible? 5, will someone explain to me why, when over and over and over again, Trump has been shown to have not committed any crimes, and the country is doing better and better every day because of his policies, that so many of our own people pathologically hate President Trump and want him impeached and removed from office? That saying, mostly attributed to Einstein, about doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, is the definition of insanity, comes to mind. My list is much larger, but I would be most appreciative if someone, anyone, could explain any of the above 5 baffling things to me, even though, to be perfectly honest, I am happy about those baffling things that I don't understand, because it is clear to my logical mind that those baffling things will most certainly result in the re-election of the president that saved our country just in the nick of time. For KSCO and KOMY, I'm Michael Zwerling. Wait a minute. I'm Michael Zwerling, not Michael Zwerling. Why did it do that? I think my computer's getting ready to crash and burn and go away. Griffin Queener, you there?
I am. Sorry, I'm eating food.
It's okay. I'm not offended that you were eating food during my editorial, my commentary, but were you able to listen to it, or were you hearing yourself masticating instead?
I was listening.
You like or you no like?
I like it. I just feel like...
does it make any sense at all?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense to me. But we do have some callers on the line to help explain those
Good. I'm hoping that someone can really explain it to me, because it went through my mind. I said, this is the wrong venue, because most people who listen to KSCO are Trump supporters, I would say. Would you agree? I think Griffin Queener is screening a phone call. All right. Well, then let's take Colonel Terry here. Colonel Terry.
Yeah, good morning, MZ. First of all, I will acknowledge I was wrong in predicting that Trump's criminality and apparent collusion, which did occur, and complicity with the Russians, and all
Jesus.
of his and his evasion.
Colonel Terry, I'm ready to lose my lunch from yesterday. I haven't had my lunch yet, but I'm ready to lose my lunch from yesterday. Go ahead. I won't interrupt you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm acknowledging that my prediction was wrong, even though the evidence against Donald Trump for having clearly been complicit with the Russians, clearly having helped Russian oligarchs steal billions of dollars worth of wealth from the Russian people and put
There's enough people who hate his guts, Colonel Terry. Why couldn't that be proven?
It is proven. It's going to be, because you cannot litigate after, you cannot indict a president sitting. But more importantly, the evidence. Let me explain the preamble. I predicted months ago that Trump and his children would be indicted for crimes, which they have obviously committed: financial crimes, money laundering crimes, and complicity with the Russians regarding the election. They took their own polling data to the Russians so the Russians could target locations where their interference with our election in violation of our laws would make an impact. And they only had to change 78,000 votes in Pennsylvania. I believe Pennsylvania, Michigan, Ohio, and what's the fourth state?
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. That's all it took, and it was 78,000 votes, if I recall what I saw in two reports, out of millions, tens of millions of votes.
Colonel Terry, you're not addressing any of my 5 baffling questions.
Well, I'll address
You're
them
just
right.
taking up time now. So please address one of my questions, or...
Okay, I will. The stock market is high because the tax deductions for corporations and their executives and billionaires and millionaires. And the tax deductions Trump and the Republicans put in gives far more economic wealth to the people who didn't need it and who didn't deserve it because they're not paying their fair share. They're paying less of their fair share of running the country, defending the country, etc. The energy program is one in which ignores the reality that we must transition if we care about the future of this planet away from fossil fuels. In addition to that, his energy program depletes American energy resources at an extraordinary fast rate over the next 20 years. Trump's Israel policy, I agree, he's correct in helping Israel. The jobs trend of jobs coming back, yes, part of that is the tax policy. Part of that also is the economic recovery that Trump had nothing to do with. And we'll see if the jobs really do come back. Why people pathologically hate Trump? Because Trump is not a nice person. He's not an honorable person. He's a dishonest person. He's an insult. He's a national disgrace in many, many ways. However, I agree he is 1,000% correct on immigration. He is correct on we have to help Israel. He is correct, and we have to stand up in the Iranian deal. The Iranian giveaway, giveaway to Iran that Obama did, most worse is giving them $143 billion of currency and not saying, here, you get 10% for the next 10 years complying with non-nuclear and complying with other things. Obama was the worst negotiator in American national history and the weakest. But the tax cut is a giveaway to the rich. It's a fraud on the middle class. The rich didn't need the huge tax cut, and now we've got corporations buying up their stock, and it's a balloon. The stock market increase is substantially a balloon, and there are learned economists who can give you that calculation proving it. So in many ways, Donald Trump's a fraud. In many ways, however, I was wrong. They're not going to push him out of office on criminal conduct, and I was wrong. He was correct on immigration. He's correct on help for Israel. He's correct on the Iran deal. And I was very impressed recently, and on immigration. God, the Democrats are so stupid and negligent about immigration. I would like somebody to call in and explain that to me. Why there's not a single Democrat. And my last point, when the Democrats were asked would they provide health care to illegal aliens, illegal immigrants, they all raised their hands. And the New York Times ran a photo piece or somebody did that said, these are the Democrats holding up their hands who want to lose. So I voted for Trump at the last minute because I wanted out here in California. I wasn't going to change the election, but I wanted to be a vote for enforcing immigration. And that is a huge threat. Can anybody...
Will you vote for him again, even though you dislike him in so many ways and think he is a criminal?
And he's a national security risk. And the answer is I may be forced to. I don't think the Democrats...
Interesting. Okay, good. I was going to, talk about throwing out the baby with the bathwater, especially after hearing you say some nice things about... I've always heard you say nice things about his immigration policy, but I never heard you say all the other nice things. So that's good. And you get some credit, but let's see. And I guess you did sort of explain why why people hate Trump, because the stock market is, even though the stock market is at record high and unemployment is at record low. So, I credit you for that. Thank you. Thank you, Colonel Terry.
The last couple things, what Mueller actually said, MZ, is Russia interfered with our election to help Trump. The Russians made numerous contacts with the Trump campaign. The Trump campaign welcomed their help. No one reported from the Trump campaign or the interference to the FBI, and they lied to cover it up. So they are guilty of the campaign crimes, and they're guilty of complicity, if not collusion.
Okay.
All right, but back to the bottom line. Yeah, it's a dilemma.
I'm saying okay that you said that. I didn't say okay. I agree with you. I just I like it when Go ahead.
Smart thinking, informed person. It's a dilemma. The Democrats are so stupid on things like immigration, and the Republicans are so stupid on things like denying a raped 14-year-old girl her right to terminate a pregnancy from rape. So and again, Trump's got good and he's got bad.
But do you think he has more good than bad? When it comes to being the president of the United States and what's best for the country?
I think he'll do us more long-term damage.
Wow, you still say that.
But he may do us more long-term damage with the national debt he's piling up.
Oh, okay.
That is an economic fraud.
But you might be forced to vote for him because there's nobody else that's out there now that you might...
That will enforce our immigration laws.
Yeah.
The Democrats, for example.
Okay.
Or stand tough on Iran, the Iran deal.
Yeah.
And on Obama, by the way, my friend Ralph Nader described Obama when Obama was running. The man is an affirmative action Harvard Law School graduate who got there by being a con man. And he will prove to be a con man as president. Ralph Nader said that to me before Obama was nominated.
Oh, you're talking about Obama now, not Trump.
Ralph Nader said to me before Obama was nominated in 2008, Obama is a Harvard Law School affirmative action product. He got there by being a deceitful con man, and he will be a con man if elected president. And he will be inept in many ways.
And did you not vote for Obama because of your friend Ralph Nader telling you that?
I voted for John McCain.
Okay.
I worked for McCain's campaign.
I see. Okay. Are you? Do you have?
Better off if George W. Bush never been nominated. Also,
can you get Ralph Nader to be a guest on the Saturday Special because he's a buddy of yours?
Well, it's possible. He is 84 or so.
Well, people in their 90s are lucid and.
Well, I saw him a few years ago in Washington. We had a wonderful lunch and follow-on dinner reunion. I'll see what I can do, MC.
That'd be great. I would appreciate it. Thank you, Colonel Terry.
Right. Okay.
Now, we had a bunch of other callers, but now we have no other callers. I think what happened is maybe Colonel Terry, said it all, so that there's no need. And we should, maybe we should turn the, I can't believe nobody else has anything to say about but maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. Or maybe everybody agrees with it. Maybe I started to say that most people who listen regularly to KSCO, I believe, are Trump supporters. I could be wrong, but I would say more are Trump supporters than not. And the ones who are not, surely, God, I've got some really good friends who don't like Trump at all, and they're pretty intelligent people. And so I thought I would get some answers to that question, to my questions that I posed. But so far, not. Anyhow, 479-1080, if you want to weigh in on any of that and try to explain to me what is happening here. That would be just great because, we have a couple people. I would think we'd have a full board, and the second we let somebody go, then it gets filled up by somebody else. But anyhow, God, I wonder if people agree with me that even though I don't understand any of that stuff that I talked about in the commentary, I'm really happy because all of it together, or even one component of it, because it is the way it is. And I don't think anybody can argue with me about what I said because it's all true. Can somebody argue with me? If someone wants to take issue with what I said or challenge me in some way, please, I will be courteous and I will accept, I'll give you, I won't interrupt you. I might interrupt you a little bit, but especially if you remind me that I promised not to interrupt and that I'm interrupting, then we'll be able to, you'll be able to say your entire piece right here on the Saturday Special. Let's go to Mark in Los Gatos. Hi, Mark. Welcome to the Saturday Special on KSCO with MZ.
Hi, MZ. How are you today?
Pretty good, pretty good. I'm so proud of myself that I actually did a little prep for a change instead of just showed up.
Well, if you want to be a good student, it's good to do your homework, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Did I do enough homework? Do you want to weigh in on any of those questions and try to explain to me? Because I really want to know.
I didn't write them all down, but I was just listening to Colonel Terry there, and I agree with an awful lot of what he says. He's a bright guy and very articulate, and so I'd just like to come in on his
tremendous experience that he's had, in politics and the government and so forth.
That's true. The point that I'd like to take issue with was the idea that Trump did not commit crimes, and that part I find. It's you're KSCO. You're supposed to be like conservative and have American values in there. What really bothers me about Trump and this whole thing of doing this collaboration with Russia and they knew what they were doing. They gave internal polling data to these guys. They're collaborating with Konstantin Kilimnik and giving them internal polling data on critical swing states. Explain to me, MZ, what possible reason they would have to do that other than something than trying to get their help in trying to target these areas. Just let me know. You're saying you want to. Can anybody explain to me? Can you explain to me why they would do that?
But I asked you a question first. Why don't you try to answer what am I? I'm not prepared to answer your question, but. So
I can answer
all I'm saying is there are so many people who hate Trump's guts, who are very skilled politicians, and how come none of them have been able to get anything against him to stick? I don't get it. Maybe can you explain that? I mean,
well, it's let me take that. Let me deconstruct that because there's a couple of pieces there. One of them is it's like. Is this the standard for the presidency of the United States? If it's not criminal act, then it's okay. When he gets up on the stage in Helsinki, and basically rolls over to Putin and says that, I asked him if he interfered, and but he was very strong in his denial of what was going on.
Trump did say that. You're absolutely right. He did say that. Trump did about Putin.
He's standing against our intelligence agencies, our American intelligence agencies, and taking the word of this hostile foreign power. How is that patriotic? I don't know if that's a crime, but it stinks. It absolutely stinks. And give me your reaction as a good American why that's okay. Tell me why that's okay. I don't know that it's criminal, but it's not okay.
Well, and you're not going to find me defending Trump for everything. I think it was horrible when he said about the white supremacist thing that happened in the Carolinas that there are good people on both sides. That was a horrible thing to say, And I guess what you're asking me right now, he defended apparently, and where was it in Helsinki? You said that
Helsinki,
that he defended the people. He defended Putin basically by simply saying Putin says there's no way, there's no truth to this. I guess so. You're.
I mean, how can that not bother any American? I mean, it's just like we may have different political beliefs, but that is just so bedrock. You know, I mean, I could be wishy-washy on a lot of things. When it comes to loving this country and standing up for our country against a hostile foreign power, and if the Mueller report showed us anything, it was a huge invasion into our election by social media and every which of the way, where they wanted him to be elected. And guess what? He did get elected. He was the guy they wanted to get elected. And now he's in there. And that is, and now what does Mitch McConnell do? Mitch McConnell is blocking legislation to make it, you know, a law to go ahead and come out and tell the FBI if somebody is actually a hostile foreign power is trying to invade our election. Why in God's name would anybody stand against that? Explain that to me. And I know I'm asking you a question, and because I can't think of any decent reason at all, other than the fact that right now in Kentucky, where Mitch McConnell is from, the Oleg Deripaska and his aluminum company, who was one of the sanctioned ones that the Republicans wouldn't keep sanctions on, is now building a huge aluminum factory in Kentucky for Mitch McConnell and his constituents. Boy, the smell just rises to high heaven. And, you know...
Mark, listen, you haven't answered any one of my questions.
No,
Terry tried to answer one after I pressed him. I'm pressing you, and I'm getting nowhere except you asking me questions.
No.
I asked you first. I want you to answer me. But you know what? There's so many other people now. I'm going to take the next caller. So thank you for calling.
Run away.
Okay, I'll keep you on for the rest of the show, Mark. Okay, let's do that. To hell with Billy Sunshine. To hell with Dick in Santa Cruz. To hell with Dave and Salinas. To hell with... Oh, he hung up himself. I didn't cut him off. But there's another example of someone who, if you ask him a question and he's illogical. He asks you a bunch of other questions without answering the question. I don't want to hear from Billy Sunshine. I don't want to hear from Dick in Santa Cruz. I don't want to hear from Dave in Salinas. I don't want to hear from Richard in Pacific Grove. And I don't want to hear from Peter in Santa Cruz unless they have the courtesy to answer the question, any one of the questions that I have posed. Can you please explain to me one of those 5 things that I don't understand, that I'm very happy about, but I still want to understand them, okay? All right. So let's see, who's next? I guess I'll just say press next, and that's Dick in Santa Cruz. Dick?
Yeah,
are you going to be like that last caller and ask me a bunch of questions, or are you going to try to answer my questions?
Well, yeah, I was going to answer one. I didn't hear all your questions, but I think I heard a couple.
That's fine.
I was going to address one of them that had to do with, I think you said something about why do they hate him so much, and it's pretty simple.
No. If you want me to play the editorial again, I'll do it. I'll do it if I need to. I want specific. You didn't hear any of my thing. Oh, let's start with the first one, okay? I can do that from memory even. In fact, I have the copy right in front of me. Why will someone explain to me when our stock market is at record high, our unemployment is at record low, so many of our own people who clearly benefit from all this pathologically hate President Trump? And you can't say that it's because of Obama before him, because all this happened immediately upon Trump's election. So many things turned around, including and especially our dependence on other countries for energy. How can any sane person give credit to Obama for that? Do you have an answer for that question?
I would say the left, they're not including themselves in the stock market with what if you listen to the people on MSNBC, they say only the rich, like Colonel Terry was reiterating. He listens, I'm sure. So
you think only the rich can afford to even be in the stock market, even in a small way?
Yeah, that's what they say.
That might be.
But of course we know that's a lie, because everybody has. A lot of people have IRAs. Even most middle class people have IRAs, and that's all in the stock market. So it's just a lie. As far as the stock market, initially, you remember, Mike, it went up when right after he was elected like crazy.
Yes. That's what I said.
Yeah, and I just wanted.
Yeah,
to
that's because of Obama, which is what the left says. It went up because of Obama, because of the delayed reaction of 8 years of Obama. Yeah, right.
No, they are fooling so many of their people, and they keep them so hateful in ways that they're illogical. You know, they have so much hate. You know, if they think basically like. Omar just came out, you know, one of the squad the other day, and she said that white men are worse than terrorists, and they should be monitored, and our policies should watch white men.
You mean what's next? When is she going to say that they should be executed?
I mean,
that's probably coming pretty soon.
I said something on the radio a few months ago, and I stopped the people in their tracks. I said, "Oh, did you hear the latest on the news that the MAGA hat was outlawed?" And they believed me. You know, I just made it up. But
okay, well that's great, but I really want the answers to those questions, to any of those questions, and I'll be happy to repeat them either from the copy or I'll play the whole commentary over again. It's going to be running several times a day starting on Monday on all the KSCO programs.
I really liked that commentary that you did.
Thank you. I appreciate it very much. Thank you, Dick. Appreciate your call to 479-1080. Take next, which is Dave in Salinas. Hey, Dave, welcome to the Saturday Special. Thanks for waiting.
Yes, good morning. I'm sorry I didn't hear your commentary. What I did hear was about poison oak, and I wanted to tell a story about it.
Well, wait a second. The poison oak thing was... Did I play the commentary first? Now I'm all discombobulated. I thought I played the commentary after the poison oak. So if you heard the poison oak, how could you not have heard the commentary unless I'm wrong or unless you went to the can or something and they didn't have a radio there?
Went down the street and some people were putting logs and wood out on the sidewalk, and I was picking it up, so I missed it.
Oh, okay. Well, let me just ask you one of the things then, okay? And see if you can. Will someone explain to me why, when Israel is historically the only friend and ally of the United States in the Middle East, that so many of our own people pathologically hate President Trump for treating Israel as our friend rather than Obama, who, unlike any previous U.S. president, treated Israel so shabbily and with such utter disrespect? Can you explain that to me?
They probably won't say it, but they just don't like them. They're an awful lot like we are. I mean, they're the only Saudi Arabia country.
Wow. Hey, you could be onto something. You know, the self-hating Americans probably hate Israel because they're so much like us, and they like to hate us. Wow, Dave, you're a genius. You're going to get an award for being a really smart caller today. Wow.
All right.
That is so cool.
My poison oak, I was working out in Carmel Valley at a golf course, and we were saving oak trees, and we had this company from Texas giving us oil pipe. And I would have to take a backhoe and dig all the way around the oak tree and then shove these pipes in. And I had 7 laborers. And the poison oak, when I was digging through the roots, every one of those guys got it so bad I didn't see them for a week.
And they probably didn't see anything for a week because their eyes were probably swollen shut, huh?
Well, I knew right away. I was like, the black ooze is coming out of the roots. And, it got all over their arms and their faces, and they were a mess. But
well, that was a great.
I don't think people like Trump because he tells the truth. He just says what he wants to, and like, screw you guys. I'm going to tell it as it is, and people can't handle it.
Okay, great.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much, Dave and Salinas. Oh, I'm excited about our next caller. If anybody can answer some of my questions, it's our good, logical friend, Billy Sunshine. Hey, Billy, what's up?
Hey, MZ. How you doing, buddy?
Fine. How are you? Did you get that editorial? Did you hear it?
I did.
Commentary?
So let's take them one at a time. Read the first one.
Okay. Will someone explain to me why, when our stock market is at record high, Our unemployment is at record low. So many of our own people who clearly benefit from this pathologically hate President Trump.
Right. Okay. So the stock market has been the stock market did turn around when Obama took over from Bush, and just continued. Now it's true that the tax break goosed us, so that we're really up. But when you do something like that, you basically are eating your lunch for breakfast. And the minute, like, for example, we just got a new, money deal. We're financing the government. But to do it, basically, it's going to be an explosion right after Trump leaves office of debt. The
but
other
not,
thing,
not before? Not before?
Not before.
Do you think he's going to get reelected?
Oh, no, because I think more information is going to come out about his criminality yet.
I see. Okay.
Yet to come out. A good example of this, for example, and how it's misleading is Trump likes to say how black people have never owned more houses before. It's true. But it's also true that Obama could have said it, and Clinton could have. It's been true for the last 50 years. Constantly more black people own houses. It's like you would expect if he's bothered to think about it. So it's not a presidential thing. Read the next one.
Okay. Will someone explain to me why, when Israel is historically the only... I think you agree with that, right? Only friend and ally of the United States in the Middle East, that so many of our own people pathologically hate President Trump for treating Israel as our friend rather than Obama, who, unlike any previous U.S. president, treated Israel so shabbily and with such utter disrespect.
Got it. So, the reason I hate Trump is it's very little to do with Israel, but I can still answer the question. Mr. Trump talks about what a great deal maker he is. Well, when he moved the capital to Jerusalem, what did he get for it from the Israelis? Nothing. They gave up nothing. They did nothing good for the Palestinians. So all it makes us look like is that we're totally pro-Israel and we don't care about the Palestinians. There's a reason why presidents before him, Republican and Democrat, didn't make that move. One other thing about his treatment of Israel, I don't think about his friendship towards Israel so much as he really likes, what's his Netanyahu.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
What then?
It's more about
what do you think about? No.
Yeah, Netanyahu, whom I really don't like. He's another right winger, and he, isn't. He's just really again treating the Palestinians so awfully that it makes it hard for me to support Israel. Although I do. Read the next one.
Okay. Will someone explain to me why, when the many years long trend of companies fleeing the U.S. to operate from countries that support them rather than punish them,
I don't think that's true.
Has reversed, and so many companies are moving back to the U.S. where thanks to Trump, they are okay.
True.
So you're just taking an issue with that
Yeah,
assertion,
I don't even believe
right?
that one. Go to the next one.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess you can discard something if you just don't acknowledge that it's true.
It's true, right?
Okay. Will someone explain to me why, when everyone who pays taxes benefits from the largest tax cut in our history, that so many of our own people pathologically hate President Trump, whose tax cut made all of the above good things possible?
Right. And it's what Colonel Curry and I said before. This isn't one of your questions, but it helps you to understand why we hate Trump. He talked about the swamp constantly, for example, cleaning the swamp.
Yeah.
And then what he did was he replaced every cabinet member with a person who wants to destroy the thing he's in charge of. Lobbyists. You don't put a lobbyist for an oil company in charge of the EPA, do you?
Well, you're making a very interesting point there that's hard to argue with, actually.
Yeah. The way it appears, the larger question is this. The reason all of us hate Trump is because he's an ugly human being. He's the ugliest American. If you remember, he did begin with attacking all the Mexicans. They're rapists, they're thieves, and some, I assume, are good people. And he has divided this country so much. The division that has come out during his time has been so ugly. You and I both know that, right?
Well, I will say, I'll admit, and I'm not happy about it, that I didn't think the country could be more divided than it was under Obama, and I didn't think it could be more divided than it was under Bush. But each president seems to make it more divided. And I would agree that we're more divided than ever. Yes, now.
Yeah.
And you're attributing it to Trump, and I guess.
Well, it's hard not to. When you attack Mexicans at first, then you talk about the asshole countries. Notice I didn't say the word. When you happen to pick 4 colored people to have to tell them to go back to your countries. He's just ugly. You see what I mean? Saying go back to your country. Remember, when somebody said go back to the jungle, we weren't happy with that, were we?
Mm-mm.
No. And that's the point. He is ugly. He is tasteless. When he says constantly, nobody's more this than me. Nobody's more that than me. Oh, my God. That's so embarrassing. And by the way, we are not more, I just heard him say this the other day, we have never been more respected by the other people around the world than we are today. Nobody respects Trump. He's a buffoon. Everybody thinks he's easy. All you have to do is kiss his butt, and then you're nice, not nasty. He's a 10-year-old. He is a revenge-seeking machine. Richard Branson had lunch with him once, and he said, I couldn't believe it. He spent the whole time telling me about people who wronged him and how he got them in the end.
Was he sitting president then, or was it before?
No, before he was president. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Billy,
any
great call.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Talk to you soon.
Okay.
Next caller, Richard in Pacific Grove.
Yeah, hey, that was actually really a terrible call.
It was a terrible call?
Oh, yeah. First of all, you let him control you, told you what to do. And then second of all, he keeps saying the same crap. I don't know who he talks to regarding how people from around the world think about this president. But I go to the pub a lot, and I meet a lot of people.
Well, I think people around people around the world don't like us as much, but I think they respect us a lot more than they ever have.
You better believe it. You better believe it. I have not, and I'm serious. I would put my hand on a Bible. I have not heard anybody bash Trump as much as a guy like Billy and Colonel Cherry.
Yeah.
They say, well, it's an interesting thing. You're asking the very basic fundamental question is why most people, or why so many people hate Trump. Okay? You know why? Because the media tells them to hate Trump. The media, if they're not watching Fox News, they're getting poisoned. And this has all been proven. Michael, you know that. They're getting poisoned every day by the media.
And now, am I letting you control me like I supposedly let Billy control me?
No. Go ahead. You got a question?
I just like to let people have their say. That's all. That doesn't mean they're controlling me.
Well, he told you like he's got all the answers, and he said, "Okay, read out and I'm going to tell you every answer." Look, the guy's been on a long time. He hates why. He's talking about the 4 women. The squad.
Yeah, the squad.
What he said, and what a lot of people maybe just don't understand. Hey, if it's so bad here, why don't you go back to where you come from, your neighborhoods, or from the country you come from?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. When someone says that, I agree with them. It doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. And I guess people are going to tar and feather me because I just said that. To me, it's just logic. That's what my whole commentary is. It's just plain logic, nothing else.
Yeah. And, I volunteered for a lot of different organizations, and I've been around the world. And I got to say, Billy feels so bad about what's happening with the Palestinians. Why doesn't he go over there and do something? Go over to Palestine. Go over there and go to the Israeli Knesset and sit down there and tell them about your fears and tell them how.
78 today and a low 58 this evening, with the rest of the week sitting in the mid to low 70s and the lows in the mid to low 50s, and that is sunny weather across the board. It's 11:06 and time to return to the Saturday Special with Michael Zwerling.
Hey, Griffin Queener. I'm going to hit the button now for our Hour 2 phone jingle. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, hello, darling. I hate to hang up on you, but I'm sorry, baby, but I have to go.
I've never been so insulted in all my life. I received an email where I was called a dimwit. Have you ever been called a dimwit? What a terrible thing to call someone.
I'm sorry, baby, but I really gotta go to KSCO Radio. Bye.
Griffin Queener.
Yes.
Do you... I'm going to read this email to you and everybody, okay?
Okay.
From someone named Pez Lobo, who's a very disagreeable human. I'm assuming the person is human. It says, per usual. That's what it says in the subject line. Your unprofessional, clear-throating into the mic bum. Once again, you show your inability to debate. When a patriotic leftist calls in to challenge your nonsense, you get frustrated, throw a hissy fit, and hang up on them. Now, Griffin Queener, I know you're going to be honest here, and I'm hoping you remember this. Maybe you were call screening. Did I hang up on anybody today?
I don't think so. I didn't catch that. If you did, then it must have slipped my...
Okay, well, then you were probably call screening, and it's exactly the opposite. I unloaded on him. I don't think it was a hissy fit, because hissy fit, tends to, imply that it's irrational. And it was strong and it was passionate, but he hung up on himself. Anyhow, here's the rest of the thing. Mr. Lobo is not accurate, he says. Maybe he's accurate when he called me a dimwit. I don't claim to be, a bright wit. Maybe I am a dimwit. But it says, no wonder you support that racist trash in the White House, dimwit. Warm regards, Mr. Lobo in Berkeley. Now, I don't believe for a second that Pez Lobo is a real name for a real person. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is real. One thing I know for sure, and if I'm wrong, then Mr. Lobo in Berkeley will call the Saturday Special at 831-479-1080 and go on the air with me. And I'll let him talk. I think he's one of these people who gives a fake name and who throws the rock and hides. Well, yeah, he throws the rock and hides the hand. If his name really is Pez Lobo, then I stand corrected and I will apologize. I don't believe it. I think he's a guy who hides, and I think he's a guy who's illogical, and I think he's a guy who gives wrong information, like the fact, I hung up on somebody today. I didn't hang up on anybody. The idiot hung up on him. He hung up on me. Yeah. And if I'm wrong, hey, listen, I've been wrong before, but I'm not wrong on this one. And if someone wants to call me, particularly Mr. Lobo, then 479-1080 in area 831. Love to hear from you. And why do people always listen who don't like what they hear? It's okay. I mean, you can't like everybody, and I'd like to be liked by as many people as possible, but I don't need to be liked by the what's the word? It'll come to me in a minute here. So anyhow, Mr. Lobo, please call 479-1080 and have the balls to go on the air with me, the throat-clearing dimwit. Okay? So let's see, who else? And we apologize and I think there was one person whose name I forgot on the line before when the news caught us, and that person hung up. So let me see if I can get active sessions here. My computer is acting very, very strangely, Griffin Queener. Is there anybody on the line now? You might have to put them on the air.
Yes, there are 3 people on hold right now. I think Richard in Pacific Grove is the next one.
Okay, well, so Richard was on before. Maybe he wasn't finished. Go ahead and put him on, and we'll finish with him. And I'll try to get my screen back up working. I'm going to have to throw this computer out because it's no damn good, and it's an Apple, and it's the most expensive computer. So I feel like an idiot. Go ahead, Richard. Where were you? You have to put him on, Griffin. I can't.
He is potted up and on the air.
Well, I can't hear him. Oh,
maybe he isn't at his.
Okay,
right
who else is on? Let's put that person on.
Downtown Al is now on the air.
Oh, the guy who gave us the best, most entertaining call of last week. It was so good and so funny, in fact, that it's my understanding that they used that that audio clip on the morning show on later in the week. Hey, Downtown Al, are you going to tell us another wonderful story about feces?
No, I'm not going to. No more death cone of poo in the porta potty. But anyway, I just wanted to say that I get the greatest amount of entertainment from our president.
So do I. He's great. Isn't he wonderful?
You know something is funny when no one else is around and you laugh your head off?
Right.
And when I hear what he's done, you know, his latest shenanigans in the news, I just bust out with a belly laugh. And I love how he goes after these cry bullies. And you know what I call a cry bully is somebody who does something mean, and then when somebody gets up and defends themselves, they're like, "Oh, you hurt me," you know. And that's what these squad people are like. This Ilhan Omar and AOC and et cetera. They'll say all this nasty stuff about Israel or other people or the president or America. And then when somebody like him stands up and says something back to him, they'll cry out in pain, And, what really bothers me is people kind of basically are misquoting what the president said because, he told, Ilhan Omar and the rest of the squad, I'm paraphrasing it, but basically go back and fix their own countries or wherever they came from and then come back and tell us how it's done. So I wouldn't care if he told them to leave the country anyway, but that's not exactly what he said. He told them come back and tell us how to fix our country.
Oh.
From these S-hole countries that they come from and don't have any appreciation for, the privilege of living in this country.
Right.
Anyway, he's just a great source of entertainment. The only time I'm disappointed with him is when he doesn't take full advantage of something or when he backs down on some things.
Yeah. Well, I guess you and I are totally on the same. I was thinking of putting that in the commentary about how I've never been more entertained, and I enjoy it so much, and it's so good for my health to laugh out loud. And and the guy, whatever he talks about somebody else who doesn't like him, it cracks me up so much, and I get the same kind of joy that I do for singing, even when I sing crappily, and of course I get a lot of joy when I sing well, right? But it's so cool to feel good. It really, really is.
Oh, so, it is. I'll feel great for like the rest of the day when he gets some really good strikes in about stuff. And I don't think he has anything to apologize for. I don't think he's done one thing that deserves an apology or should have backed down on or anything like that. It's about time somebody stood up to all these cry bullies that are constantly whining about everything in this country. And, the fact that he calls these other countries assholes, I think it actually is true. I mean, Somalia is an asshole, and you should be grateful to have gotten out of that asshole and be able to come to the U.S. where you can whine about things.
Right, exactly. Well, anyhow, so I'm a little disturbed. Griffin, Queener, I'm going to need your help, unfortunately, for the rest of the show because the computer has crashed and I can't see the board. So I have no idea who besides Downtown Al is waiting to go on the air with me. Are you done, Downtown Al? I love your calls. But
I just wanted to say something about your karaoke singing.
Okay.
I actually appreciate it, even if it isn't perfect at times, because when I hear a song that isn't done by the commercialized professionals or cover bands who try and sound like the original ones, I hear the lyrics in a whole different way where I've kind of like forgotten the lyrics. But when I hear you sing them, I actually kind of tune into what's actually being said. That maybe
Okay,
now
we do have. I always want to give precedence, or preference to callers, especially when we have a good topic like we have going on today's Saturday special. If we run out of callers, people are welcome to call and request something. Now, this week I discovered 2 new songs when I was out just walking and listening that I decided to try. And whenever I do that, I email it to myself, and so I could bring it up pretty quickly. I forgot what they were. But if you want, I'll if anybody wants, I'll tell you what they are just by checking my email for the last few days. But right now we have 4 or 5 other people waiting on hold to go on the radio with us. So I'm not going to threaten anybody with my karaoke at this point. Okay. Good. Now, Peter, I think Peter is the guy that was on last hour who left. Thank you, Downtown Al, and thank you for the really fun thing that our morning show thought was just fabulous last night.
Okay, well, I'll have to listen for it. Okay.
Very funny. Okay, hey, Peter, we're not going to make you wait again. Are you the same Peter? Or are you?
I am the same guy. Same guy.
Okay, good.
Yep. You know what? I heard your. I know that you have some questions, and I want to just address them. I heard Billy Sunshine comments.
He did a good job of addressing my questions.
He did. Yeah. So here's where I'm coming from. I've heard other people say, "Oh, he's full of baloney." All this. I am on the same page with Billy.
Really? Great.
Yes.
Okay.
Now let me tell you why, though. A couple of things. First of all, stock market. I'm 69 years old. I'm in a unique position. I've got education. I'm an engineer. I've worked years and years in Silicon Valley. And I come from a point of view of this. I've got a young family. I appreciate at 69 what young are feeling in our economy today. So, first thing, stock market. Most people are not even benefiting from stock market. It's off.
Yeah, actually, and I'm one of those people because I'm scared to death of the stock market. I refuse to be in it.
They don't understand it. Most Americans, average Americans,
And the stock market is very easy to manipulate. Yeah. It's much easier to manipulate than real estate.
Yeah. I'm a patriot. I love the country. I have a flag hanging.
God, Peter, you're breaking up. It's terrible, and you probably don't have a landline to go to. And I really want to hear your. Can you try to get to a better signal?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now it's better, I think.
Okay, if it's better. Okay, so the one thing is that most people are not benefiting from the stock market. It's off their grid. They don't even care.
Okay.
What really is at the heart of many, many, many Americans, the bread and butter issues, putting food in the fridge, paying the mortgage, putting gas in your car, getting your kids to school. The things that we're suffering from right now are this: high gas prices. We're not feeling any relief at all at the gas pump.
Yeah, we are. In fact, I was amazed. I was amazed that California is horrible because of the taxes, right? And some new taxes got. No, I see 3.5 or less, and not that that's good. Okay. It should be 2 or 1, like in the rest of the country, or at least in the 2s.
Right, and I stopped at the gas station this morning. It's $3.99 for regular at Chevron.
Yeah, no. In San Francisco, it's 4.5 for sure. No, you're right about that.
It's expensive here. Now, I understand there's a lot of other issues with gas, other things that go into California taxes. Okay, but then even at the food at the store where people are having to put food on the table, I got 2 young kids right now, but I got 3 older boys. They're all. I tell you what, I have one son who's a multi-millionaire. Came out of school, got into the right field, and has pushed himself right to the top. So I don't even think that, the market is these few at the top right now. And the tax cuts, actually, if you take a look at it, in many ways, the tax cuts have not benefited the middle class.
I can't. What you've told me about your son has made me. I've got to ask you this question.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's in high tech that he's become a multimillionaire. Yeah.
Well, it's in high tech, but
And most high tech, I think it's a correct statement. Most high tech, like most media, people are lefties. Is your son a lefty, or does he argue? Does you argue with him? Maybe he's
pretty much. Here's the thing about left and right. I don't want to demean. I don't believe in this lefty and righty.
Okay.
I'm somewhat to the middle.
Okay.
I'm at the middle. He's in the middle.
So you probably don't argue with your multi-million-dollar son, right?
No, I don't. We are kind of on the same page about things we think.
Uh-huh.
But here's the thing. Example: my son's got a house at the beach that's worth $3 million.
Uh-huh.
He's got a house in San Francisco that's worth about $5 or $6 million.
Uh-huh.
How much under this administration and this current time? What benefits is he having with taxes, California state taxes?
Oh, you're absolutely right about that. You're absolutely right about that. Yeah.
Okay, so the middle class, look, here in Santa Cruz, I built homes in Santa Cruz. And
you're that Peter the home builder.
Yeah, Peter the home builder.
Okay.
Peter the engineer. Look, I worked, not talking about things like, let's talk about things like Israel. I was married twice. My kids are half Jewish. I'm kind of where Trump is. I'm kind of right out of his age group.
Okay. Yeah, you are. Now I think we've lost you altogether, Peter. What a shame, because it was such a good call. Anyhow, if you call back from a better spot, that'd be great. Our next caller is going to be Flinks. Now, Flinks...
I had an answer to your question about why all these people, every question you have seems to talk about how all the people hate Trump, and I can give you that answer.
It doesn't matter which question it is because the answer is the same for each one?
Yeah, the question, because it's why do the people hate Trump, like the big majority? And I think it's kind of like, I'll make an analogous to a parent raising a child.
Okay.
You tell the child, hey, you have to go to work. I want you to work. I'm not giving you any support. You need to go out and take care of yourself. And the parent and the child hates the parent. They're like, oh, my God, I hate you. You're terrible. You're not helping me. I need some money for rent. Nope, I'm not helping you. You got to do it yourself. And the child continues to complain. They hate their parent. But they go and get a job and they succeed. And at their parents' funeral, they say, I love my dad. My dad taught me to raise myself and take care of myself. And that's kind of what we're facing with Trump. Trump is like putting the pressure on, telling people, say, you need to get a job. And people have been not having to have a job. They've been getting handouts through our taxes.
Do you think that when Trump's day comes, some of his haters will not hate him as much, and there might be some nice things said about Trump by his haters, his current haters, which are vast, but not enough not enough to keep him from being elected. I think it's going to be the biggest re-election by the biggest landslide in history. Anybody wants to bet me with that, I'll be happy to take that bet. You know,
I think if something tragic happened to Trump, like if you were to something terrible was to happen to him, I think you'd see a big change in how people think of him. But that also too, why if let's say Putin or some foreign power had trash on Trump, they had something to prove, and they released it during this election process. They said, look, Trump did pollute it. The Democrats would want that. They would want that to help them win. So to me, it's like if Putin helps the Democrats, they love Putin. But I hope Trump uses Putin again. Use him again. Putin does support self-reliance. You got to be self-reliant. Now, Putin is a terrible person, but still, there is that self-reliance. You got to have self-reliance in your life for your
that part of him is good, though, right? So good. Okay, thank you, Flinks and Aptos. And by the way, is Flink? He hung up. I didn't hang up on him. He hung up himself. And I was going to ask him about his name and the spelling and so forth. Anyhow, I can't do that now unless he calls back. Steve in Seaside, it's your turn.
Thank you, Michael. This is the Steve Lightfoot.
I figured. So what's up? Do you have some answers to my questions? Any of them?
No, I don't, but I did get on the anniversary of my find, which was yesterday, the 26th of July, 37 years ago, I found my find about his role in John Lennon's murder. Anyway, I got this email from him yesterday from realstephenking@protonmail.com. Hello, Mr. Lightfoot. As you may have already gleaned from my email username, I am the author Stephen King. We've talked briefly before, as in our letters, but this little game of yours has gone on too long. Your incessant persistence was annoying at first, but now it is threatening my livelihood. People are beginning to ask questions for which I have no credible answer. I suppose that means you win this battle, though not the war. I confess I killed John Lennon, shot the effer until I was satisfied. My only regret is that I couldn't watch him bleed out as his soul went to hell. I know he's in hell because he speaks to me. Every day he speaks to me. I know I'll meet him there one day. If you publicize this email, Lightfoot, terrible things await you, things that would make you beg for an eternity in hell instead. I've got connections. You really think you've beaten me? Nice try. Even if you had real proof and not the ramblings of a madman, nothing bad would happen to me. Besides, no one will ever believe you. Best, Stephen King.
What's the last? Oh, best, B-E-S-T?
Yeah, that's how
or it sounded like it said death, D-E-A-T-H, but it was really best, B-E-S-T.
Yeah, that's how he wrote me once before.
Okay, listen, Steve, I really like it. You know, I've been criticized lately by a very, very impotent person for letting my shows get hijacked. And that very impotent person is right. I shouldn't let my shows get hijacked. And I just did with you. Even though, you know, people will probably say that you made an interesting call. And if something terrible, if something terrible happens to you or me, maybe as a result of Stephen King is more powerful than you think he is, and I just don't know that much about him.
I think he's concerned. I think he's concerned that he may try to kill himself and take me out in the process, or he's afraid he'll be tried as a traitor and the death penalty might apply, and he's worried.
Well. All right. Thank you for calling. Take care. Here's Sam in, not Sam, Dan in Aptos. Hi, Dan. Dan.
Hello. Yeah. Hello.
You're on the air, Dan.
Yeah, Dan, Pacific Grove. Hey, regarding.
I'm sorry. It says Dan in Aptos. So.
Not too far away. Hey, you've posed a question. The hatred for Trump. I believe it's a direct consequence of. He is set out to, and I believe continues to battle the political establishment, and which includes what passes for mainstream media, and the unprecedented attack spread through these media outlets and attendant followers and puppets, really, on so-called entertainment shows and the popular culture in the entertainment media, pervasive, nonstop attack, promoting hatred, vitriol.
Okay, sure, of course.
Certainly a preference for style over substance, the willing blindness to substance, and this part of that is expressed in the newfound fondness for the Constitution, wrapping themselves in the flag, when they're completely blind to that during the previous administration. It's darkly amusing to see these expressions of fondness for the peaceful prosperity of the Obama administrations, which launched unprovoked wars against Libya, Syria. You know, interesting, some of the current proposals on the table regarding free education, free health care. Libya was the most prosperous country in Africa and had free education and free health care for its citizens. Obama administration launched a military attack when that country was not in conflict with any other country and destroyed that place, turned it into a dysfunctional wasteland. And the Obama administration, Barack Obama, directly intervene to block access to documents to enable the proper investigation of the Fast and Furious selling of military-grade weapons to the cartels in Mexico.
Yes.
It's just absurd blindness, hypocrisy, and unprecedented.
Yeah, but here's the deal. I'm not saying that Trump is lily white. He's probably in many, many ways as corrupt as any of them. Really. I just look at the bottom line, and the bottom line is the country is now, in my opinion, going in the right direction, and it has been going in the wrong direction for many presidents before Trump.
I believe the record shows he is working very hard to promote peace and prosperity, working on a peace treaty between the two Koreas, and the increase in prosperity and protection of American sovereignty is happening.
Right. Okay. Hey, thank you very much, Dan in Aptos, not Pacific Grove.
Thank you.
Now, we're going to go back to poor Richard in Pacific Grove, who was cut off not by me, but by the damn newscast. Hey, Richard, I thought you were done anyhow, pretty much, though I didn't cut you
I'm
off.
not done. I'm Irish, man. We're never done. We fight everybody.
Okay.
But anyway, I think we've all been hustled by the news, by Google, by Facebook. You know, more and more is coming out about how these people are influencing what the American people are seeing. And for the young people that don't really read a lot, you know, that aren't versed a lot in history, you know, this is why they hate the guy. They keep telling, the news people keep telling him he's a monster and making him look funny and goofing about his orange hair and goofing about this. And that it's an easy thing if you don't want to read and pay attention to what's going on. I think your last call was pretty right on. He was pretty smart. That was a good call. We were raised to believe in suits and ties, Michael, you know, and that all these people look what we just witnessed with the Mueller investigation and that poor guy being brought up there. He looked, you know, Mick Jagger was 76 yesterday, and he's 2 years older than Mueller. And now, who would you want to go out with? You know what I mean?
Neither one of them, because they're guys.
Yeah, okay. Well, you know what I'm saying about who'd you want to hang with. I mean, that was embarrassing. That was so embarrassing, you know. Yeah. And the reality is, the way the system is, the way every system is, there's dirt on just about everybody. There's dirt on just about everybody. And that's the only way I can explain why the last...
Okay, well, that's you're not the first person in this program that has said the media is the answer to all my questions.
Yeah, all right. So I said that's all I wanted. And the other guy was good, so I've said enough. Thank you, Michael.
All right.
Good show.
Thank you. We have our next caller, Scott, in Live Oak. Then we have open lines at 831-479-1080. I hope they will fill up. It's a great program today. But, Scott, what do you have to say in Live Oak?
Well, excuse me.
That's nice that you've said la, 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 and I think you're the first one who said that today. So I got to hand it to you.
Okay. No, I'm dumbfounded that as much as Trump has been pigeonholed since he was elected, actually before he was elected, because this whole shenanigan started long before that. And I look and see what this man has gotten done with these people just chewing on his cheeks insatiably, nonstop. The media's on the Democrat side, almost lock in step, my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm still entitled to that, but it just blows my mind. And when we have our kids coming out of school that aren't being even, I asked my grandson, he's 13. I says, "Who's Paul Revere?" He goes, "Who's that?"
Oh my! Wow.
Now, that scared the crap out of me.
Yeah. Understandably.
It's not what they're teaching anymore. It's what they're not teaching is really scaring me.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah, and they're ignoring history and they're rewriting it, which is even worse.
Well, yeah, because now we get to go back through and do it again. If you don't learn your lesson, you'll repeat it.
Right.
So, well, thanks, Charlie. I'll let you go.
My name isn't
I'm
Charlie.
sorry.
My name
I
is
know.
poor old MZ. But
Well,
that's
you
okay.
notice MZ? That's who I usually call.
Oh, okay. Right. You like to call Charlie. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
it's
I'm
not
gonna.
a question of liking. It's a question of that's when I have time to listen to the radio. Today was a fluke.
Oh, that's I'm so happy. Thank you for for choosing to listen to the Saturday Special today.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Scott and Live Oak, you take care. Here's Lucas in Soledad. Hi, Lucas. What's up?
Oh, not too much. You seem a little bit depressed today. I've only turned the radio on for 2 minutes, and you just seem to be depressed.
No, not at all. Not at all. No, I'm happy. I'm perfectly happy. I'm perfectly happy. You missed my commentary. I guess you're going to have to listen to it during the week or something. But anyhow, did you call to say something besides I sound depressed today?
No, yeah, exactly.
What?
No, I just this whole business with Trump. I was just kind of wondering what your opinion to this whole thing was, because my opinion is simply this. It seems like the Democrats are trying, along with the media, so desperately to try to get him to resign because they just can't seem to impeach him.
Yeah.
And I was just curious what you thought about that.
I don't think there's a snowball chance in hell of his resigning like Nixon did. It's a totally different thing. And I'm happy that the left is unhinged, and that the Democrats are largely unhinged, because I love President Trump, and I think he's the greatest president that we've ever had. Yeah, he's rough around the edges. Yeah, he's obnoxious, but his obnoxiousness is what's the most entertaining thing. And I just look at the bottom line, and that's where the country is. I'm happier where the country is now than in memory. And my previous favorite president was Reagan, and Trump has overtaken Reagan, in my mind, absolutely. Anyhow, thank you very much. That's what I think, anyhow. So appreciate your call to 479-1080. Pete in Live Oak, it's your turn. Thanks for calling.
Good morning, MZ. I wanted to make a little comment about your questions.
Yeah, sure.
I think Trump didn't have a chance. The chosen one didn't get elected, and they're mad about that. And I don't care what Trump does. He beat the chosen one, and they're mad about it. Quick little story, MZ. January 20th, inauguration day.
Yeah.
I put my flag out, and somebody tore my flag down, tore the bracket off the post, and threw it down in the mud.
Wow.
So that tells you from day one that I don't care what he does, he's not going to get credit for anything.
Yeah, if Hillary were to have been elected and did all of these things, they would cheer, and say you're wonderful. But
That's
not that
true.
she would, not that she would have done any of them, because she is the devil as far as I'm concerned. The most evil person that I can think of is Hillary Clinton.
That's very, very true. But they're so PO'd that she wasn't elected that it just.
Do you believe that Hillary and Bill Clinton are responsible for murdering a bunch of people?
Oh boy, I hate.
Or do you think that's a little extreme?
No, I hate to accuse somebody, but I sure.
Well, there sure are a trail of bodies behind them,
That's exactly right.
And do you think that because I just said on a 10,000 watt station that has a range through our app worldwide, that I think Hillary is about the most evil person that I can think of that comes to mind? It doesn't mean there aren't many more people. There could be many people even more evil. Do you think I've become a target now, and that I may not be long for this world myself?
Oh, I would hate to think that, but the history of the Clintons, you could be right. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Gee,
But anyway,
maybe I should retract what I just said. Just
No.
because it's just for self-preservation.
Well,
it's probably too late anyhow. You know.
Well, but that was my comment. You ask all these questions, why? It's because they will never acknowledge that Trump did a thing.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay. All right. So
They
it's
hate
very,
Trump.
very so many people in this call. You're I don't know, number probably 3 or 4 that have just lumped all of my 5 specific questions into, they all have the same answer. And you could be right, and the others could be right too. It's a fascinating idea, but I'm still looking for more. Appreciate your call to 479-1080, and I do wish more people would call that number in the 17 or 18 minutes we have left.
Okay.
Thank you, Pete in Live Oak. Here's Dennis in Santa Cruz. Hi, Dennis. You're on.
Oh yes, thanks for taking my call. Now I just want I don't call very much, but I've called in the past. But about the Trumpster, when he came down that golden escalator with his beautiful wife, and the hatred with the Brit Humes and the Jonas Goldberg and the Bill Cristols from National Review, and a lot of the senators, and they're coming around now because he just makes it so easy. And they've been working.
I don't remember that Brit Hume was a thorn in his side. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that just got past me.
I think
but I would agree with you about Brit Hume. I don't agree with you about anybody else who isn't on Fox. And I know there are some people on Fox who like Shepard Smith who hate Trump's guts. I know that too.
Oh gosh. Oh yes. Yeah. And Harris Faulkner was that way, but he's coming around too. But
really.
The Bill Cristols and the Jonas Goldberg, the guys you go out in the Cruz with National Review, William F. Buckley publications.
Yeah,
those are on the hate Trump team because they wanted to be Trump. They wanted to be him, and he makes it look so easy. And the people in the swamp in government, he makes it, and he does it with not only humor, but with results. And they can't stand it because they've been working for decades to try to do what he's doing. And he comes in here, a hotshot New York playboy, a Democrat. He switches parts. They attack. He shrugs it off, and he just presses on. And these are the people that they want to do what he's doing, and they couldn't. And it's just jealousy. It's complete and total falling from mouth.
Maybe that's all it is, and I'm trying to.
It really is. It's jealousy, and they see his wife, they see his family, they see his country clubs, they see his towers, and there's the cabal would go after him because we're supposed to do this. He's not supposed to do this. And he makes it look so easy, and the results are like phenomenal, and like Sinatra sang the song, the best is yet to come, blah 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 blah, and blah 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 blah. He ignores them all. And he presses on, and they're just sick with jealousy and anger.
He is so cool. It's like it's like Rumpelstiltskin.
Man, I like it when you say if you're even thinking Trump without saying a word, they go crazy because they think that you're thinking about him. It's just and this Bill Crystal, this little panty. Oh God, I can't stand that guy. And he goes out in his cruise ship and tells you everything bad about America and how we can make it better. And you got to get somebody in there like
Nobody has taken me up on my bet that Trump is going to be reelected by the greatest landslide in history, in United States history. So far, no one has done that. But it might be because it's KSCO, because most people who listen to KSCO like Trump, I think, and so maybe that's the reason. Maybe if I were to go on KGO or CNN or something like that, if they would have me, which I doubt because they don't have anybody who disagrees with them. But maybe someone would be willing to take me up on that bet. But I honestly believe that, and
I'm not going to bet. I'm not going to bet against a winning hand.
Yeah.
And the Republicans that they still don't see the winning hand they have in their hand. They just they want to do what he's doing, and they can't come around. It's just jealousy.
Right.
And his beautiful wife and all of his assets. And he goes, how does this guy just come in here, New York Playboy, and do what we can't do for 30 years? You know, and they're distraught like McCain. He would shake when he heard Trump's name. He would shake because he's just in the establishment, the deep state, and he was in the swamp. I hate to say it, but he was.
Yeah.
He's a preacher, and
they all are. They all are, and to an extent, one of the callers today said, you know, Trump talks about the swamp, yet he's installed people who have been in the swamp before, and that was a very telling, and I can't argue with that.
Yeah, but I understand that, but he's surrounded in D.C. He's surrounded in D.C., and he has to make some choices that look, Bill Barr. He could have been an establishment runt, but he's not. He's a guy, and he's going to get to the bottom of this. But he's surrounded, Mike, with all these people in D.C. He's got to appoint these people. They're going in and out, and he's got to, you know, he goes, okay, let's just get this guy. I know he's been here for a while, but it's hard to, like, interview people outside of D.C. for these, positions. So, and that and the head of the FBI, he's a swamp creature.
Yeah.
But he had no choice. He had to get somebody in there quickly, you know. And it's just that's what it's about. Because you know that Christopher Wray, he talks to Trump. He sounds like a good guy. And once he appointed,
listen. This is
stuff, and we're lucky to have him. America is fortunate to have a man like Donald J. Trump.
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. How do you agree with Billy Sunshine on anything?
No.
Well, Billy Sunshine is on the line again. And he's already been on today. He's already been on today. And so if I were to put him on again, I would be accused of favoritism.
No, you do what you want to do.
Okay, here's what I want to do. To hell with me, but my being accused of favoritism. I want to put him on with you.
Fine,
okay?
I know who he is. I know.
Okay, go ahead, Billy. Now, just a second here. You are the only two callers that I have now, and that is sending me a signal. That is sending, and I have to warn the people. If by bread, the song, that's one of the songs that I emailed to myself, and I think I do a pretty good job at it. If we don't get some callers, people are going to have to listen to me sing "If" by Bread. Okay, but go ahead and listen. Just because I put you on a second time during the program does not mean we're varying that rule going forward.
All right, I won't think that you like me.
Okay, go ahead, Dennis. Yeah, of course. I like you. I like you. That's
so
great.
Here's why I actually did not call to get on the air, other than when I heard you didn't have calls following this gentleman.
No. Don't. I know you've always wanted to help me for that, but don't worry. That's why I take that as a signal that people want to hear me sing.
Okay. All right. Let me just get this out. I want to take your bet.
Oh.
Yeah. How
really?
much do you want to bet? Absolutely. The way you stated it.
How much do you want to bet?
I don't know, $1,000.
$1,000?
Yeah.
Jesus. That is pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. You want to make it $10,000?
Maybe. How about 100,000? How about 100,000?
Well, as long as we understand each other, what the statement you made was that Trump will have the biggest win by the biggest margin ever. Yes, I take that bet.
Wait a second. Dennis is Dennis. He's making me. I should unshoot my mouth off and go back and check what the biggest landslide in history is. But before I go back, before I take this bet, it's probably going to be a pretty significant bet, because he suggested 1,000, and then 10,000, and then I suggested 100,000.
So are we just being too macho? Should we be more reasonable and not show off in front of everybody and leave it at 1,000? Because I think we're being jerks when we talk about 100,000.
Well, I don't even. One of the things I appreciate about you is that you you reel me down to earth when I've said something, and the something is that by the greatest landslide in history.
Exactly.
That's what.
When you said
Michael,
but nobody calling, I had to call up and challenge you.
Take the bet. I should take the bet, Dennis.
Yes, take the bet. You got 3 aces, and you discarded 2 cards, and you're waiting for 2 more. Okay? Yes. Yes. And now, I would like to ask Billy Sunshine a question. What if Clinton was president right now? Where do you think we would be?
In what area? Be more specific.
God, what did you say? The wrong area? Yeah, what area? The website.
No, I meant in what area?
I am so. Now I am depressed. Someone who called said I sounded depressed. Lucas said I sounded depressed, and now I am depressed because we've filled up all the lines now at the end of the program, which means I will not be able to sing today.
That's my fault. Blame me.
Well, Mikey, I got to go. And Billy, it's good to hear you again. And yeah, you got.
So Billy has called my bluff, and I'm sitting here with egg on my face.
But why? Take the bet. You got 3 aces. You're waiting for 2 more cards.
By the biggest landslide in history. Yeah, that's what I said. That's what
I'm holding a royal flush.
It's if you win. Forget about the landslide movie. It's if you win, and you will win, and the $1,000
and it will be the biggest landslide. What is? Does anybody know what the biggest landslide in history? By how much percentage that was? Because I am feeling like a fool.
It was
McGovern. I don't know. It's probably Barack Hussein, Obama. No. I don't know.
It wasn't.
Who cares about landslides? It's called winning.
No. That's what Billy is. That's what Billy is calling me on. If it wasn't for the fact that I said landslide, he wouldn't be willing to bet. Am I right, Bill?
I make a small bet that he's not. I already have a bet with Dave.
How bet
on the day he was elected that he would not make it to 2020 all the way through.
Who wins, Mikey?
Now that's looking like a loser.
Forget the landslide business. Who wins? Bet the law.
Well, no, Billy. So Billy, you will bet that, and even if I backtrack on the biggest landslide in history.
Let's make both bets equal amount of money. That way you'll feel better.
Yeah, and then Mike, you'll win, and then you'll go, well, I won the popular vote. You got to get your rules straight.
Mike.
You got to get your rules straight. Because you go, we win the popular vote. Yeah, New York and California. And then he's going to win Florida. He's going to win Wisconsin again. He's going to win Ohio. He's going to win Michigan. He's going to win Minnesota.
Okay, well, wait a second. It's enough, you guys. Now, wait a second. I know I'm running away like a dog with his tail behind it. I will address this. I got to think about it a little more, okay? Billy, you make a very good point. I give you credit for it. Dennis, I know you're telling me to take the bet or take both of them. You know, that's fine. I'm going to unlock you, and I'm going to say thank you to Billy, and I'm going to go to Nancy and Carmel. Nancy, what's up?
I wanted to answer the question as well as I could.
We back away 3 feet from your phone, because you're making me deaf, and probably our listeners also.
Is this okay?
No, another 10 feet. Griffin Queener, turn the volume down. You can do that. I can't. Go ahead, Nancy. Okay, fine. Go ahead.
Okay. So the reason is because I used to be like Billy Sunshine, but I'm not anymore. So I understand both sides.
Okay.
I used to be just like him. And what happened to me was I finally started looking at the other point of view, which most liberals will not do. So the more I looked, the more.
You know what, Nancy? I'm sorry, it just isn't working. Your phone is so distorted we can't understand you. So I hope we can get you next time. Rich and Salinas, you're on KSCO.
Yeah, Mike, I suggest you find out what the biggest landslide is. Maybe Reagan is the most recent one.
Yeah.
Maybe Andrew Jackson in the back, and then decide to bet him. You know, once you know
and I have to apologize because I really feel bad because I clearly said, you know, I'll make that bet with anybody, and then Billy calls me and makes the bet because I said by the biggest landslide in history. And then I back away. I feel like an idiot.
But the bet still can be made. You just have to find out what that biggest is, and then you can make your decision.
Okay.
And I would suggest that you get Billy Sunshine's tax returns, though, to find out if he's got 100,000.
Okay, or mine. All right, take care. Tony in the parking lot poet. Go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, MC, while I was calling, everybody came in on what I wanted to say. I wanted to bet you 97 cents, which is the price of a senior coffee at McDonald's, that I wanted to take your bet, but only for 97 cents. So you can actually make that bet with me. Forget these other guys. And as far as singing, you ought to sing a little thing. You should have something prepared. About 10
I do. Well, I can do. I'll be cut off. Do you want me to do that? By the way, Bob in Carmel says Reagan versus Mondale. He says, don't take Billy's bet. There are too many large blue states, e.g. California, that DJT would have to win. Okay, but I still shouldn't. I shot my mouth off, and I need to do something, or else I have no credibility at all. What's your bet?
Take my bet for 97 cents, price of senior coffee at McDonald's. You can take that one regardless of which way you bet. And you know, I was calling in because of that largest thing too. But you don't have to make a big bet; make a small bet, and then you can talk about making bigger bets later.
That's right. I didn't shoot my mouth off saying that I would take any bet at any price.
Right.
You know, 97 cents. It's just like Billy and I were comparing the size of each other's, member. Yeah. I guess that's what was happening. And okay, good. So I can save face. You
could take the
bet
by
taking the bet, but not for $1,000, or not for 10,000, or not 100.
I bet you, sir, 97 cents that you're wrong.
Okay, all righty. So, I'll take your bet because
Thank you.
All right, but do you really believe it, or you just?
No, I believe that he won't get the biggest landslide, but I think he will probably win.
Okay,
but I can still make that
all right.
bet.
I don't want to get cut off here, but that's the end of the show. Thank you, Tony. Okay, so that's it, ladies and gentlemen.
That's all, folks.
KSCO, Santa Cruz, Salinas, 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 Santa Cruz, Salinas,